Raphael is one of Italy's most masterful painters and architects to this day. Born on April 6, 1483 in Italy, he lived his life learning from other masterful painters. Although he died on April 6, 1520 on his own 37th birthday, his artwork has never been forgotten. During the Renaissance, Raphael created pieces bursting with emotion that tell stories. Faces were his strong suit. He is best known for his Madonnas, or depictions of the Virgin Mary, because he was so skilled at creating realistic faces, which provide most of the meaning to paintings for me. Everyone has heard practice makes perfect, but practice does make for some extremely talented artists. Raphael's first record of painting is placed in Perugia around 1495 according to several scholars, however the exact date is still a mystery. He was commissioned to help paint an altarpiece, or a painting that sits behind an altar, which provided clarity for every one of his talents. This led him to paint the Coronation of the Virgin in the Church of San Francesco in 1501, which led him to Pietro Perugino, an Umbrian master skilled in frescoes. Raphael was a member of his workshop, giving him the chance to learn professional knowledge and become influenced by his unique style. His painting career started thanks to Perugino, because Perugino's giving him the keys to St. Peter's painting inspired Raphael's first major work in 1504, The Marriage of the Virgin. And ever since then, he created masterpieces that may not get the recognition they deserve, but are known nonetheless. I will be focusing on Raphael's top 5 most famous paintings as determined by scholars. The fame may be because of the visual aspect, the meaning, or the technique. Starting at number 5, the Triumph of Galatea, created in 1514 for a villa owned by one of the richest men at the time, depicts the ocean spirit Galatea's rise to divine status. This painting is so unique to Raphael's others because it was the only Greek mythology painting he created. Galatea, the focus of this painting, was married to a giant named Polyphemus, who threw a pillar at her true love, a peasant shepherd. This painting captures the moment where she takes her death and transforms into a divine power because of her patient suffering in life, known as her apotheosis. With all the distractions around Galatea, she is staring up at the heaven as if she doesn't care about all that's going on around her, and we can tell that because of her face. Her innocent facial expression demonstrates that nothing around her can disrupt her from what matters in that moment. This painting was done with oil on canvas, which is why the painting's colors still pop over 500 years later. Number 4. Madonna and Child with St. John the Baptist, created in 1507, depicts a Madonna with Christ and a young John. Commissioned by Fabrizio Segardi, a nobleman, Raphael actually left the painting incomplete for him. It is heard that Rodolfo de Giuliano finished the painting, however, a recent restoration seems to contradict this. This painting is known for its balance of the figures represented, as well as its quality in all of the elements. The Madonna's face looks calm, but the way she's interacting with the infants presents an emotional foundation for the artwork. Her face served as a model of beauty for generations, as most of his Madonnas did. And to finish this painting off, the arch formed by the frame creates a harmonious composition that pulls it all together. This painting is an oil on wood, which isn't as odd as you may think, as canvases didn't surpass wood panels in popularity until the 16th century, right around Raphael's time. Raphael's third most famous painting is the Transfiguration, created in 1520. This was the last painting ever created by Raphael. Commissioned by Cardinal Giulio de' Medici, the future Pope Clement VII, it was intended as an altarpiece for the Narbonne Cathedral in France. Raphael worked on it until his death in 1520. This artwork is divided into 2 parts, the upper half showing Christ with the prophets Elijah and Moses in the clouds, and the lower half showing the apostles trying to get rid of a boy possessed by evil. The apostles are depicted as not successful, but Christ is. Some scholars interpret this painting as a contrast between the power of God and the flaws of men, with the upper half being pure and the lower half being chaotic. Giorgio Vasari, another Italian painter, called this painting Raphael's most beautiful and most divine work. This painting is another oil on wood, even though it is known that he preferred oil on canvas. Being Raphael's last work, it demonstrates his development as an artist and all he has ever learned over the years of masterful painting. His second most famous painting is the Sistine Madonna, created in 1512. Meant as an altarpiece for the Church of San Sisto in Piacenza, it was purchased in 1754 by King Augustus III for his collection in Dresden. This painting depicts the Madonna holding Christ and Saint Sixtus and Saint Barbara on either side. Underneath are 2 cherubs, who are the most famous cherubs depicted in any picture. There is much conspiracy regarding Raphael's technique painting them, but they are still so popular that they are reproduced on a ton of random objects. As you can see here, there's an umbrella covered in the cherubs, and there's a clock covered in them as well. However, the painting as a whole symbolizes a perfect world, as the figures are not on earth, they are in the heavens. This is an oil on canvas painting, and while oil on wood does make the colors pop, it is not the same as it is on canvas. There is much more texture which helps with the painting's effect. The Sistine Madonna is known as one of the finest paintings and is extremely popular in Germany. It has been deemed a supreme among the world's paintings and accorded the epithet divine. Raphael's The School of Athens takes first place. This is one of the 4 main frescoes in the Stanze di Raffaello located in the Vatican. Commissioned by Pope Julius II, this was the largest and most important moment in Raphael's life. The 4 paintings represent poetry, theology, law, and philosophy, which is what the School of Athens represents. Now, when I think philosophy, I think Aristotle and Plato. Well, they're the center of this scene amongst 21 other philosophers. However, no one is quite certain who the other 21 philosophers are. This painting stands out so much because he painted intellect, he painted history, and he painted beliefs. No one has ever seen so much intelligence behind a painting. Raphael embodied every aspect of thinking in a single wall of just one room out of the entire Vatican. That is a feat never to be forgotten. Raphael's work as an architect never got to really see the light of day. He was always overshadowed by those who were seen as greater, such as Michelangelo. Therefore, after his death, most of his work got replaced and he got less exposure. His architectural plans and drawings didn't get the chance to gain the respect of society. He was a man with many skills, but a man that didn't measure up to what people had already seen architecturally. Some examples of Raphael's architecture are the St. Peter's Basilica, the Villa Madama, and the Chigi Chapel. However, some of his work was promised unfulfilled, a couple of drawings and some building work that would later be replaced. At his most popular time, he was considered one of the finest architects in Rome, but that didn't last long in a city constantly changing. After the passing of Bramante, Pope Leo X gave Raphael the chance to complete St. Peter's, which is his most notable architectural work. Some believe he created the architecture the same way he painted, using the same principles and the same perspective. Raphael was a painter, an architect, but I like to call him an artist, because he mastered so many art forms and made his way to the top with pure talent. He may not be Michelangelo, but he is never forgotten.